What is your why? What is your why as a parent? Now, I know right now some of you are thinking, what are you talking about, Marlon? Listen, I have work responsibilities. I've got these children. I've got my own social life that I'm striving to have. I'm barely making it. I get it. I know it's not easy. And the reason why I know it's not easy because I am a 100% single father raising two teenage children. And so I understand. I mean, sometimes I'm rocking and rolling. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And plus, I'm a full-time entrepreneur. I'm a business owner. And so it's all on me. And also, I do community service. So how do you juggle it all, right? Sometimes you feel like you're juggling everything. But again, I want to ask you, what's your why? Because if we can be truthful, it's not easy. Being a parent today is not easy, but it's worth it. And why do I say that? It's not easy from the standpoint that when you think about these kids, they got TikTok and social media, they got these cell phones, they're exposed to everything. I remember when I was a teenager, man, we would hang out outside. Now, and I'm gonna be honest with you, my parents still had that rule, and some of you know what I'm talking about. You had to be home by the time the street lights came on. But that's not today, right? I mean, these young people, they're not going outside like we did. And at the same time, they're so much more advanced than us. When it comes down to technology, I tell you, my daughter, my son, they are doing things that I'm like, hey, can you help me out? Can you help your dad out? But here's what I want you to understand. What is your why? As a parent, what is your why? For me, when I reflect and I think about, when my daughter was first born, that was one of the greatest days of my life. I remember holding my daughter and I just said to myself, oh my gosh, this little being, this little baby is my daughter. And what was so amazing is that when you look back and you see how fast time has flown by, she's now 18, about to go to college. And then my son, 3 years later, he was born. And I was so happy that God blessed me with both a daughter and a son. Because, kids are different, right? And, what I do with my daughter is different than what I do with my son. And my son, seeing him, and many people say, wow, when our baby pictures, we look very similar. I mean, it was almost like, oh my goodness, that is, people say, wow, that's you, Marlon. And I say, no, that's my son. But what's so amazing is that I remember how I felt when they both were first born. And you and I both know time gets busy. Sometimes we're moving so fast, we can get away from our why. What were you feeling when you had your children? I mean, that's really the question. What were you feeling? And I get it. Sometimes, hey, there's many phases to raising a child. It's not easy. But what I do want you to remember is that there's greatness within you. And you as a parent, I know it's challenging. I know time is limited, but I also know this. You have an opportunity to be a blessing for your kids. In spite of all that's going on, but in spite of all the challenges, all the pressures that you have, you still have a blessing. And so as a parent, my question is, what is your why? For me, I've shared this with my kids. I don't know if you've shared this with your children, but I've shared 4 things that I'm striving to instill within my children. Because ultimately, my why is I want my kids to grow up maximizing their true potential, living with purpose, and making a difference in this world. That's ultimately what I'm striving to do. And how do I do that? Number 1, self-love. I want my children to understand that really when it comes to loving yourself, it's an inner game versus an outer game. And that's not easy, especially today with social media and how many likes do you have and how many fans do you have. I hope I'm saying it right? I'm not really on social media. But what I want to say is with our young people right now, they're being bombarded with different images and different pressures that I can't even relate to. Yes, I had pressures when I was young, wanted to be, accepted, wanted to be liked, but it's on a whole nother level now because of social media. But again, my number 1 is for them to realize that self-love Loving themselves first is the answer. Because remember, someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. You're not a jukebox. It's not like somebody can just push your button. Now, I know, now parents, y'all know what I'm talking about. For some of the younger parents, you might be like, what is a jukebox? A jukebox was a device back in the day where it had all these different records that would play. You would put in your quarter and you punch certain buttons and a certain song would play. So every song corresponded to a sequence of numbers that you would push. And so what I'm saying is that you're not a jukebox, but yet sometimes we feel like, wow, other people can push our buttons and therefore we feel happy. If they say, hey, you're great, oh, I feel happy. Or if they say, oh, you're terrible, oh, I feel sad. And so what I'm saying is that we're not a jukebox. And so one of my first things I'm trying to do as far as instilling in my children is, number one, self-love. To thyself be true. Love thyself, right? Not in an arrogant way, not in a conceited way, but in a way that you're not a piece of paper being blown in the wind where, oh, sometimes you feel up because some people say, oh, you're great. And sometimes you feel down because, oh, people say, oh, you're terrible. No, it comes from within. It comes from within. And so that is number one. Number one is self-love. I'm doing my best to have my young people, my children, understand that you got to love yourself first. You have to be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? I'm special just the way I am. It's not about achieving this or achieving that. No, I'm special. God created me on purpose. And so that's number one. Number two is leadership. I believe in my heart that all of us were born on purpose. I believe God created each and every one of us on purpose. And so I wanted to help my children really understand, what are your gifts? What are your talents? My daughter, my son, they're different from each other, but yet they are uniquely made. And so if I can help them, that's my goal as a father, as a loving parent, is to help them realize their gifts and their talents. And how can they develop their gifts and talents so that they be a leader, that they are developing their leadership potential to maximize and make a difference in this world. We need more leaders. And I even have sat down with my daughter, my son, and said, listen, we got a lot of people that are following the crowd. But what I'm encouraging you to do is go within and say, hey, I'm a leader. I can make a new path. I can make a difference with my life. So number one, self-love. Number two, inner leadership, self-leadership. And then number three is contribution. Being a giver. Isn't it true when you give, you receive so much more in return? And that's what I'm striving to have my young people, my children understand. You're here on this earth, not just to be a taker, take. You're here on this earth to make a difference. You're here on this earth to make a contribution, to be a blessing for others. And so that is it. For me, that's the greatest gift, because when you give, you receive so much more in return. And my children, they've done community service. My daughter has done a lot of community service, and my son, because she's in a program that is all about teaching the importance of service and contribution. And so I'm really excited about that. And then number four is legacy wealth. I want my young people, my children, to understand the importance of delayed gratification, the importance of investing, the importance of entrepreneurship. Delayed gratification, what am I talking about? I'm talking about where you don't have to buy things just because you see it, right? We have so many people who are consumers. And when I talk about delayed gratification, hey, if you see something that you're really excited about, sleep on it. I encourage my children, hey, 24 hours, let's do a 24-hour test, right? If it's something that's relatively expensive, you decide what that is, but give it 24 hours. And if you have the same passion, same excitement 24 hours later, okay, then we can talk about it. So delayed gratification is so important. It really is when you think about it. And then we talk about investing. I'm so happy that both my children have their a Roth retirement account. Yes, as teenagers, why not start now? You know about Rule of 72, right? You don't know about Rule of 72? Rule of 72, check this out. When I learned this, I was in my 20s, I learned this, it changed my life. Because again, you understand delayed gratification and you make investments. Next thing you know, like, whoa. Rule of 72 is basically, and you can Google it, go on YouTube, watch some videos, but it's very simple. It's a formula. 72 divided by the interest rate, the rate of return on your money, equals the number of years your money will double. So let's say I get a 12% return on my money. 12 goes into 72. How many times? 6. So every 6 years, my money will double. So let's just real easy. If I have $1,000 and I put that $1,000 in an investment, and that makes a 12% return every year. Check this out. 12 goes into 72, 6 times. So that $1,000 after 6 years, that $1,000 will turn into what? $2,000. 6 years later, that $2,000 will turn into what? $4,000. So right now, from $1,000 investment, you just let it sit, you let it roll, boom, don't touch it, and you get 12% return every year. In 12 years, that $1,000, while you're sleeping, it's compounding, and $1,000 12 years later is what? $4,000. 6 years later, 18 years, right? 18 years, 6 years later, that $4,000 turns into what? $8,000. Another 6 years, 24 years all in, right? Are you with me? You tracking with me? 8,000 turns into 16,000. And then another 6 years, 30 years in from that $1,000 investment, 16,000 doubles, 32,000. That's the rule of 72. And again, you can go ahead, they have cartoon videos that really break it down, but I wanted to share with you because again, right now we have so many people just barely making it. But if we can help our young children understand the importance of delayed gratification, understand the importance of investing, rule of 72 is powerful. And so again, I'll do a video if you like. You can go ahead and type in the comment section, what you would like for me to talk about. Because again, I'm sharing this. OverFlow Parenting is all about just sharing some insights. Because isn't it true? Success leaves footprints. If one person can do it, that means you can do it. And I learn from others. And so all I'm doing is being a conduit to share, to help others be their best. So number one, delayed gratification. Number 2 is investing. And number three is entrepreneurship, business ownership. Woo! Listen, I encourage everyone to have either a full-time business that they own or a part-time business. There's something magical that happens when you are a business owner. And so my daughter, she has her own social media marketing company and she's learning. You can't teach this in school. I mean, she's learning about how to market. She's learning how to negotiate. She's learning how to handle conflict, right? With, clients or customers that are, a little grumpy. But she's learning this. This is real time as a teenager. And my son, he's doing some things, and so it's exciting because, again, I want to teach them that entrepreneurship, business ownership, that's where it's at. And so, number 1, delayed gratification. Number 2, investing. Number 3, business ownership. That's, for me, is what I'm excited about when I talk about legacy wealth. Because at the end of the day, it's about really our children being their best, maximizing their potential, walking in their greatness. And we as parents, we have that opportunity. So, my 4 are self-love, inner leadership, self-leadership, if you would, contribution, and legacy wealth. That's my why. When I'm 97 years young, I look myself in the mirror. What's going to make me smile is the treasured memories and the loving relationships. And for me, being blessed to have these 2 children and me being blessed to share information with them so that they can prosper. They can be their best. They can maximize their potential, and they can ultimately fulfill the purpose that God has created them to achieve. I'm going to be fulfilled. So what are your insights, wisdom that you are striving to instill in your young kids? What are they? They don't have to be mine. I mean, I shared mine because I just want to share my passion, my excitement. Because as I really thought about it, I said, man, what's my why? Are we just, waking up, eating breakfast, going to school, going to work, come home, eat dinner, watch TV, go to bed? Is that what life is all about? No. I believe you have to be forward thinking. And I love what Stephen Covey in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People says, start with the end in mind. And so I'm already thinking like the end in mind, man, for my kids to have self-love, for them to feel good about themselves, for them to be the true leader that they have the potential to be, for them to be a giver, wanting to contribute to others, and them to have the understanding about having their money work for them versus them working for their money. Whoo! To me, that is the gift that I'm striving to instill in my young children. What about you? What is your why? And so what I'm encouraging you to do before you go to bed tonight, get a notepad or pull out your cell phone and just type up, what is your why for your children? What are you ultimately looking to instill upon them? Because again, when we know what our end goal is, when we know our why, the how will appear. So sure, I'm busy, I'm moving and shaking, I got a lot going on like you, right? Parents, come on now, y'all know what I'm talking about, but we're gonna be talking about stress. We're gonna talk about mental health in upcoming videos. But what I want you to understand is that when you have a why, the how appears. So now I use those treasured moments when I can talk to my kids about money, when I can talk to them about self-love. Because my kids, like when I was their age, and even as an adult, if I could be honest with you, sometimes friends, family members will, hurt you intentionally or unintentionally. But for me to have those teachable moments where, hey, someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. That's the gift. That is the gift. And leadership. Having my children do things, yes, I coach them, but they have to fly their wings. I can't do it there. I'm not going to be there all the time with them. So I want to make sure that, when they have those situations and, maybe somebody offers them some drugs or alcohol, and alcohol is a drug, that they can say no. Or when, they are in college and they have a midterm exam or a final coming up or a paper due, and there's a big party going on, that they can say, you know what, I got to study. Because again, I'm thinking long term. Will that party, help me get to my dreams and my goals? So they can be a leader and be like, no, I'm not going to do that. And then contribution. For them to say, you know what, I want to contribute to others. I see the value of service. Because it's true, when you give to others, you receive so much more in return. That is the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And then, I love this, legacy wealth. Being able to do what you want to do, when you want to do it, with who you want to do it. Woo! Come on, somebody. That to me is the ultimate, where you can just shine your light so that you can walk in your greatness, that you can make a difference in this world. And so I hope you've enjoyed this. As parents, what is your why? And so I invite you tonight before you go to bed, make it a priority. Just write down, what is your why? And if you like, go ahead and share your why in the comment section of this YouTube page. Why? Because we can celebrate each other. There's power in synergy. 1 + 1 is not 2. 1 + 1, when it comes together, it's 11. And so I'm excited to hear from you. And I'd love to get your feedback. If there's any topics that you'd like to talk about, OverFlow Parenting is all about us growing and being our best. And so I am Marlon Smith, reminding you there's greatness within you. Live with purpose, because your success is your choice. And remember this, a vision without action is just a dream. A lot of action without a vision is merely a passing of time. But a vision with action can change the world. I am Marlon Smith, reminding you, walk with greatness because you are blessed. Thank you.